So this news just dropped the other day. Biden administration has reunited 500 families separated under Trump. Interesting. Okay, so here's what they say in the Hill. The Biden administration has reunited 500 children separated from their parents under the Trump administration White House's zero-tolerance border policy, an official told the Hill Friday. The benchmark follows nearly 2 years of steady work by the Biden administration, which tasked itself with reuniting an estimated more than 1,000 children who remain separated from their parents due to the 2018 Trump policy. Quote, 500 is a really important milestone. Obviously, the first step for these families is that physical reunification and going through that process. Michelle Brane, executive director of the administration's Family Reunification Task Force, told The Hill, those are 500 individual children that are now with their parents. The Biden administration launched its Family Reunification Task Force weeks into taking office, pledging to contact the parents, many of whom are outside the U.S. and may no longer reside in their home country. Outrage over the policy pushed Trump to suspend it, but not before separating more than 5,000 children from their parents. Jesus, I did not know it was that many. Brane said the task force still has nearly 700 children it is still trying to reunify with their parents. The administration in September of last year launched 2 sites, Together.gov and its Spanish-language counterpart, Juntos.gov, to give families a portal to actively seek reunification. Some 200 families are still being processed through the portal, and another 150 who have been initially contacted by the government have yet to do so. There's also a group of parents for the more than 150 children the task force has not yet been able to contact. Quote, we're making progress. We have been able to contact many of the families that we had not previously had any contact with when we came into this job and into this mission, and we know that there's a lot of work left to be done. We are committed to continuing to work to find these families, Brane said, an effort that has included visiting villages in other countries in an effort to locate the parents. Obviously, the last cases are the hardest cases in many ways. Wow. Okay, so this is surprising. Now, here's why I'm shocked by this in particular. Because the Biden administration has been a lot tougher on the border than anybody on the right would like to acknowledge. And it's something people to Biden's left have, I think, fairly criticized him for, because he has kept in place a lot of the Trump-era border policies. One of them being Title 42, the pandemic era policy. One of them being Remain in Mexico. Now, recently, a lot of these policies have been rescinded after extended legal battles over them. There were some court cases around them, but so Title 42, I don't think they're allowed to do that anymore because it was a pandemic-era policy where they said, there is no due process. If you come to the country, we're just going to kick you out immediately. Well, that violates due process rights, and so you're not allowed to do that. So I think they stopped doing that one. Remain in Mexico, I think they just got rid of. But these are policies that have had remained in place for an extended period of time, well after Trump was in office. And so, Biden, in standard American president operating procedure, has continued the deportations, has continued to be tough on the border. Now, that's not the way the right portrays it. They portray it like, Biden's weak and he supports open borders and whatnot. But now we see there are some key ways in which he has broken with Trump-era policy. Now, I do remember when Trump reversed this policy because there was so much negative press he got over it. And this did lead to marches in the streets where people were saying, you cannot separate these kids from their families. And so Trump reversed the policy. And I watched a documentary on this, by the way, which was a very good documentary. I think it was a PBS documentary. And then now, I didn't even know Biden had this task force to bring back families that had been separated, to bring back kids to the families that they were separated from. But apparently they do have it, and apparently it's kind of working. So look, add it to the list, man. Keep it real. Dark Brandon has been hitting us with a whole bunch of W's recently. There is no doubt about it. Between the student loan debt reduction, which already has survived some legal challenges against it, by the way, between the new federal move on marijuana, where they want to pardon everybody for simple possession federally, which will help tens of thousands of people who have some weed crime on their record, between the 15% corporate minimum tax rate, the lowering of some prescription drug prices in the IRA, the list goes on and on. Kind of surprised by this. So we have the midterms upcoming. As long as inflation and unemployment are not out of control, some people might be surprised on election night. I do believe that, because the most recent poll I saw, Biden had a 49% approval rating, his highest since he had a 52% approval rating, or 54% when he was cutting $1,400 checks. So we'll see. It's an interesting political landscape, and this is yet another victory for him. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.